Wind and wave obey Jesus.
Mm.
We're going on a trip, mother.
Probably on the Sea of Galilee, right there.
Oh, she got it first try. My goodness.
Well, sometimes I mess up a lot.
Nope.
Covering the Sea of Galilee. Okay,
They
perfect.
don't see those ones. They see this one though.
Oh, yes, when you're talking, right? Yeah.
Um, now it happened on a certain day. Who knows? Maybe we'll know.
This
He
day.
got right. I want to know what date. January 14th. So on January 14th,
And this is Luke 8:22.
22.
He's getting in his boat.
He's getting in his boat with his disciples, and he said to them, "Let us cross over to the other side of the lake."
Mm.
And they launched out. But as they sailed, he fell asleep, and a windstorm came down on the lake, and they were filling with water, and they were in jeopardy. No, no.
In
And they
danger.
came to him and awoke him, so he's asleep, saying, "Master, master, we are perishing."
The panic.
Ah! And he arose and rebuked the wind and the raging of the water, and they ceased, and there was a calm. But he said to them, "Where is your faith?"
Mm.
And they were afraid and marveled, saying to one another, "Who can this be?" It's a little late for that. For he commands even the winds and water, and they obey him. Like I said,
Like it's
it's
a
a little
little
bit
late
late.
because here they are following him, right? Is that
This
what you
man raised somebody from the dead.
right? And now they're asking who this is. But they
Well,
still don't understand the depths of his power, and I think we're the same. I think we don't understand what power and what
maybe logically, I am just, I like to leap, but like that's a leap that I could make.
he could make a leap that he could because he's done all the other stuff.
Because has he referenced moving mountains yet?
Hmm. Well, in Mark 7:7,
If he was
I'm not.
like, you can move a mountain, I'd be like, well, after this, especially, right? He'd be like,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm sure you could.
right. And then, so how long were they discussing among themselves? Like, should we wake him, or did they just go right to the thing? Let's wake him. But
Well,
they
I
didn't
think
say,
there was
well,
water in the boat.
Simon, you fix it. They're like, they knew where to go, even if they woke Jesus, they knew where to go for the help.
That's true. How
So
big was his
that's,
boat too?
yeah,
Yeah, were they running around? Was there sleeping quarters?
you know,
Because I'm just kind of imagining a small rickety boat and he's just sleeping on the bottom of it. And how could you not be woken up? But
yeah,
when you're doing miracles, you need your Z's.
you need some sleep.
Right. Send me a sleepy times.
Yes, every time, yes. And that shows his human too, doesn't it?
Right. She's like, why would you wake me up?
No, but now he doesn't need sleep in his heavenly, you know, he does not sleep nor slumber.
Right.
Wow. Thank you,
Mm.
Lord, for that power.
So where were they going?
Where
Oh,
were
this
they
is where it
going?
is. Then they sailed to the country of the Gadarenes.
Yes. And then if you look, do you see in your note where it says Gur and since in your side notes or footnotes?
Gerasenes?
Yeah. So we're not totally sure if this is like there or up there, or is it the other side of the sea where it says that name with the question mark? Or is it any one of them? We're not sure. But it seems to be near the water because they're sailing to it. So, which is opposite. Say, oh yeah, it says they sailed to the country of the Galilean, which is opposite Galilee. So then we have to assume it's more likely this one because Galilee is over here. I have to go the reverse way. Sorry. And there. That would be the
Right.
opposite across the sea of
Right.
Galilee. That's what I'm thinking.
It seems like a good thought.
All right, cool. So that's the story.
And what's the first thing they do when they get there? And
What
when
is the
he
first thing
stepped
to?
out on the land, there met him a certain man from the city who had demons for a long time and wore no clothes, nor did he live in a house, but in the tombs.
Mm,
When he saw Jesus, he cried out, fell down before him, and with a loud voice said, "What have I to do with you, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I
yeah.
beg you, do not torment me." For he had commanded the unclean spirit to come out of the man, for it had often seized him. And he was kept under guard, bound with chains and shackles, and he broke the bonds and was driven by the demon into the wilderness. Jesus asked him, saying, "What is your name?"
Seems
And
a
he
fair question.
said, "Legion," because many demons have had entered him. And they begged him that he would not command them to go out into the abyss. Now a herd of swine was feeding there on the mountain. So they begged him that he would permit them to enter them. He permitted them. Then the demons went out of the man and entered the swine, and the herd ran violently down the steep place into the lake and drowned. That's what they wanted.
Wow.
When those, well, it's better than the alternative, I guess,
It
right?
got sunny here,
My
so
undercover agent, my goodness, my mother
it
went incognito for a second.
got sunny.
Because your future's too bright.
My future is so bright. Thank you, Jesus.
You get a pair of sunglasses.
Hey.
Uh,
Yeah, so here they are, right? It's so interesting in understanding, isn't it? And what were you going to say about the alternative?
the Abyss?
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Does that seem like a hospitable place that you would want to stay?
Right, right. I gotcha.
I don't.
I know, because this is for the demons, right?
Right. Imagine a similar place to like in SpongeBob when they go down to the abyss and there's
Oh,
all the people speaking the funny languages and whatnot.
I
That
don't
thing.
know that
Still,
I've
if you
seen it.
watch SpongeBob, you'll understand.
Okay.
But yeah, the abyss doesn't sound
Right.
a good place to be. So they chose
The sheep and
the true a true death.
I mean the pigs. The
I'm
truth.
trying to think. This is a weird thought, Mother. You're here for this. We're all here for this, right? So like demons in a way are bad thoughts. And like so these bad thoughts are making people, but if we're thinking literally the demons are coming out of them and they're spirits, right, that haven't are doing bad things.
That don't have a home. They need a home, right? So they
Because
need
the abyss is where El Satan was he was brought, right? He resides in the abyss. That's where he put all the fallen angels,
oh
I
I got
think.
I,
Something similar at least.
mm, gotcha. Yes, and I can't say that I understand all that. So I understand. I'm following along your logic here.
So like for them to die as a pig as a human would, I mean, you'd be pig instincts, but
Right.
I guess they still had control over the body. That was the only way to get away. I don't know, right?
Right,
I
right.
don't
Because
know
they
at the
needed
end of the day, but they chose to do that rather than stay in the body. They went through all that trouble and effort to not do the abyss.
mm, it's very interesting, isn't it?
And then imagine just being a pig keeper that day.
Right.
Imagine showing up, waking up, right? Starting your day.
and you have
What do
got
you think
pig.
is gonna happen today? Not this.
Not this. I know. Well, that's all his sheep, his pigs. I'm sorry.
Then those who fed them, as in the pigs,
Yes,
saw what had happened, and they were like,
I know.
my life is ruined. So they fled and told it in the city and in the country. And they said, what happened? Or they were telling them what Jesus did. They weren't afraid.
Right,
Okay.
right. They were telling them what happened, right? And the pigs went over and
I mean, who knows what they said at the end of the day, but
right,
I'm assuming it's probably just telling them what happened, right? They said,
right. I mean, their version of the story could be dramatic,
so if you
even
were,
more.
these pigs were already here. Okay.
And
People
their
who
job
live
was to
here.
feed them. They were feeding them.
These pigs were close enough to the person to be sent to them, right? So
Yes,
the
yes.
pig people who were taking care of the pigs probably knew the guy.
They probably did. They knew
So
it.
they were able to give firsthand accounts of the actual thing, much more impactful.
Right. And I have a
But
feeling that everyone knew about him, that he
right,
lived in the, you know. So yes, they would have
yeah,
known. Wow.
cool. So then,
And then what happens in 34? So they told it in the city and in the country.
yeah, and then they went out to see what had happened, and came to Jesus, and found the man from whom the demons had departed, sitting at the feet of Jesus, clothed and in his right mind, and they were afraid. They also, who had seen it, told them by what means he who had been demon possessed was healed. Then the whole multitude of the surrounding region of the Gadarenes asked
Mhm.
him to depart from them because they didn't have any pig left. That was all their pig.
Mhm. Well,
And they were seized with great fear, and he got into the boat and returned. Now the man from whom the demons had departed begged him that he might be with him, but Jesus sent him away, saying, return to your own home and tell them what great things God has done for you. And he went his way and proclaimed throughout the whole city what great things Jesus had done for him.
mhm.
I mean, it kind of sounds like he got kicked out again.
Who?
Jesus, for just being a great guy.
Oh, he got kicked out in a way because they
An
were
entire
fearful.
country, seemingly.
Yeah. But if you hang out, and I don't know if Luke will tell us, but in the other apostles, it does say that he went back there and there was many that believed because they had heard the testimony of the other guy, you know?
So he didn't need to go. Well, he did what he could, right? I mean, there's no way
It
he could
was
have
a
gone
time,
past
yes. Sometimes
because
there's, yeah. And there's a time to like he did the miracle, the guy was
just
saved.
because it doesn't work the first time, mother, doesn't mean it's not so.
Right. And he didn't, his job, the guy that was saved, right? His job was to return and tell. And he's the best testimony in this case because they all knew him.
Because he was insane.
Right. So now they know him and they can see how he's changed. So in a way, that's an amazing testimony because they see the physical transformation, right?
We're gonna go back. You remember Ted from a couple episodes ago?
Okay, yeah.
So we're gonna be meeting Ted on a street. We're gonna be like, oh my goodness, Ted, you're wearing clothes.
Yeah,
It's good to see you today. My goodness.
my goodness, I know, and you're talking to me like a regular person. And
And you can talk as well. Oh my goodness.
I know,
You've been gargling
yeah,
and foaming at the mouth and growling at people for the last 7 years. Ted, you're doing much better.
much better. Exactly, exactly. Because they did talk about it in Mark too, if you remember, Mark 5,
Mark 5.
which is probably,
Oh, it's the same thing, yeah.
yeah, so it was definitely one that was cold again, you know? Wow. Yeah, so and it says in verse 5:3 that out of the tombs was a man with an unclean spirit who had his dwelling among the tombs, and no one could bind him, not even with chains, because he had often been bound with shackles and chains. And the chains had been pulled apart for him, the shackles broken in pieces, neither could anyone tame him. So he was pretty violent, it sounded like, right? And then, like you said, it talks about how he came out, right? And then, and they began to plead with him to depart just the same, right? And they, when he got into the boat, he who had been demon possessed begged him that he might go with him. However, Jesus did not permit him but said to him, "Go home to your friends and tell them what great things the Lord has done for you, and how he has had compassion on you." And he departed and began to proclaim in Decapolis all that Jesus had done, and all marveled. Yay! So he did.
It is marvelous,
He did his job. What
right?
wow, do we do our job?
That's all you need to do
Tell
is
our
your job,
testimony, right? Tell people what God did for us.
right? Talk
Peace, right?
and peace.
Peace.